Hello again, this is Paul Mailing for Acoustic Guitar. We're here today to talk about how to become a rock-solid rhythm guitar player. And when we say rock-solid, we don't just mean rock and roll. We also mean gypsy jazz, country, western, swing, whatever kind of music you play. You can always become a better rhythm guitar player, and you'll be more sought after as a sideman, which means, think of the Beatles without John Lennon. His rhythm guitar playing drove some of those records, like All My Love, and he's back there going, if you don't believe me, check out John Lennon's rhythm playing. But you don't have to play like John Lennon, and you don't have to play like Joseph Reinhardt when you play gypsy jazz. That's my milieu, and in gypsy jazz, you've got to be able to play a good solid rhythm. But in any kind of music, rhythm guitar makes everybody else sound better. So you get to be a hero if you work on your rhythm guitar playing. So the first step number one to get us there to becoming a better rhythm guitar player is to listen to other rhythm guitar players. This is true for any kind of, if you want to play lead, you should listen to lead players. If you want to sing, you should listen to singers. So you may have overlooked this, but when you're listening to a record, sometimes it's cool to listen to what's going on in the background, the things that people are doing to make the people in the foreground, namely the soloists, the people in the background are doing things to make the foreground people sound better. And one of the things that you can do is just play solid rhythm. I suggest you get a metronome and a recording device. I use cassettes. You can use your iPhone, whatever you want to use. But I would suggest starting at a moderate tempo, say maybe 80 beats per minute, and just try to play 4 even beats with the metronome. I'm going to use an A minor 6. Typical gypsy jazz chord. For you regular jazz people, this could also be D9. Anyways, so 4 even beats with the metronome. Seems super easy, right? Try doing that for, I don't know, maybe 5-10 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll find that the longer you try to play with the metronome, it may become easier for you, it may become difficult. The trick is to play exactly with the metronome so that you can't even hear the metronome and you think maybe the metronome turned itself off or the battery died. But you want to get to be one with the metronome, because if you can play tight with a metronome, it'll be way easier to play with human beings. A lot of people think that they'll become a human metronome if they practice with a metronome. It's not true. It just helps keep you honest. It helps keep you focused on the rhythm. So that's called 4/4, when you just play short, short. Another style of rhythm is 2/4, where the first beat is longer and the second beat is still short. So long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short. I would recommend at this point that you record yourself playing with the metronome and see, when you listen back, see if you're playing exactly with the metronome. That's step 1. So now step number 2 is to record yourself playing a piece of music. It can be something super simple. In fact, the simpler the better. And again, 80 beats per minute seems to be like, you know, a nice average tempo. I'm just going to play a blues in the key of C. We're going to use C, we're going to use F7, and we're going to use G7. And what I want you to do is just play a nice 2/4 rhythm at this tempo. So now, you probably couldn't hear the metronome while we were doing that, and that's because I was playing so perfectly tight with it that you couldn't hear it. That's what you want to do as a student. Now, the way that you can save a lot of money and not pay a teacher to tell you the bad news is to take that recording that you just made of yourself and sit back and listen to it objectively and see, first of all, if you're playing tight with the metronome, or if you can hear the metronome that probably means that you're not with the metronome. So you want to play so tightly you can't hear it. The second thing you want to look for is like little sloppiness, like maybe holding the chord too long or mushing something in the left hand. When you're changing chords, a lot of people have trouble changing chords, especially if the chord is an unfamiliar shape. And sometimes what people do with the right hand, they'll do something fussy over here to cover up a mistake in the left hand. Like they may do something like this and then something silly or fussy that totally obliterates the groove that you've set up with this long short. The idea of rhythm is that it's supposed to groove, no matter what style of music, whether it's jazz, blues, pop, country, folk, whatever. You want to groove, and a good rhythm player can groove at any tempo. All right, so now that you've recorded yourself playing a blues and you've listened back objectively, this is where the fun actually happens, because as you start making more and more of these rhythm tracks for yourself, you can practice your lead playing, your improvisations, or even just technical exercises with a backing track that's you on the backing track. And again, as I say, when you're listening to the backing track, you'll hear things that you may not be proud of. And you might like make a list of those things and then go back and re-record your rhythm track. I would suggest when you're feeling confident that you pick a song, and I'm going to stick with the blues for now just because everybody knows the blues and it's good for all styles. But in order to develop stamina, which is something you need if you're going to play in a band, you've got to be able to play a song for 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, or if you're in a Grateful Dead cover band, you have to be able to play for 8 hours solid without stopping. So you do this by practicing, and I would suggest practicing one song for about 3 minutes, maybe 4, 5 if you can stand it, and again with your trusty metronome so you're not out there all by yourself. So we're going to play a blues now. Like I said, but this is at 126 beats per minute, and I would encourage you to record your rhythm tracks at all different tempos. But here's a medium fast blues. A 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4/4, short, 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 short. Every beat is equal. So that's a very short example of what I want you to be doing. I want you to try to play as perfectly as you can with a metronome, cleanly, either 2/4 or 4/4. Or if you're into gypsy jazz, we have an example here for an A minor 6 chord. Gypsy jazz has what's called la pompe. And we've talked about la pompe in other lessons, but just to review, it's a variation of the long, short, long, short. And it starts with a quick little upstroke. So that'll get you started with la pompe, which we've discussed in other lessons. Okay, so we're almost at expert level now for playing rhythm, and good for you for sticking it out this far. Again, just to restate, the most important thing about rhythm is that it's got to groove, it's got to be consistent and relaxed, and if you can, record with a metronome, or if you like playing along with play-along tracks that you find on the internet, you can record yourself playing along with play-along tracks. But the idea is that you actually are practicing playing rhythm. This may be difficult for you at first, so like anything, I would recommend starting out slowly, painfully slowly if need be, and then gradually speeding up whatever you're working on, whether it's rhythm, if it's 2/4 or 4/4 or la pompe. And that's true for your lead stuff too. If you're working on scales or arpeggios, start out slowly and then gradually try to build up speed. There's no sense practicing mistakes. There's just no sense in it. You'll have to, what you don't work on today, you'll have to work on tomorrow, so you might as well work on it today. So good for you for working on rhythm. I'm going to play for you a little bit of Minor Swing now by Django Reinhardt. Seems to be one of the most popular songs for gypsy guitarists. It has La Pompe. It has A minor, D minor 6, and E7. And this is a good tune at all tempos, but just to encourage you and inspire you, I'm going to play it kind of fast. And I would encourage you to practice as much as you can, learn as much as you can about playing rhythm, take your time and enjoy the journey. Here's Minor Swing, and I think this is going to be maybe 180 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. So thanks for hanging in there for the whole lesson. This has been Paul Mailing for Acoustic Guitar. Feel free to shoot me an email if you have questions, and happy playing. Enjoy the journey. Bye-bye.